Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on KREM 2 News First at 4. I'm Tom Sherry.
Good to have you with us. I'm Jane McCarthy. We begin with some breaking news out of north central Washington. Right now, a wildfire is burning about 5 miles northwest of the town of Okanagan. No estimate yet on the size of the fire. We do know it's burning along Dry Coulee Road. Law enforcement did issue level 1 evacuations for that area. Now, level 1 means for people nearby to be aware of the fire, keep an eye on things, but no action is necessary right now. So we'll keep watching this fire throughout our newscasts and also on the KREM 2 app all through tonight.
Well, crews are also working on a wildfire burning in Klickitat County. The Juniper fire burned through about 240 acres. This was caused after the generator from a wind turbine sparked that fire on Saturday. That also prompted evacuations. About 200 people are working to put out the fire. As of right now, it's only about 40% contained. In Benton County, crews are holding the Cold Creek fire at 42,000 acres near Richland. Washington DNR says it's now 80% contained.
And we're starting this week with possible thunderstorms, and it was hot out there today, so.
Yeah, it is, and it's hot where that fire is burning, this brand new fire that we're finding up in north central Washington. And again, this is, as we said before, a little bit north of Okanagan and a little southeast of the Omak area. Right now, it's 92 degrees up there. The good news is it's not very windy, primarily just wind out of the southwest at 4 miles per hour. And when it does gust, the peak wind gust we've been able to spot so far is only about 12 miles an hour. But again, it is very, very hot and tinder dry, and it's going to remain hot through tomorrow. And then we are going to get gusty winds tomorrow night into Wednesday. So they really need to get a handle on that particular fire. And look at this, 91 degrees right now. So that is the second time this year that we've hit 91 degrees. We last did it back in June 13th. Only the second time this season that we've actually seen a 90-degree temperature. So it has not been a terribly hot summer yet, but today and tomorrow expected to be the hot ones. When you look at the satellite and radar picture, there you can see it. We've got showers and thunderstorms mostly to the north of Spokane, moving up towards the Canadian border. As you can see, a few showers trying to work their way out of the Blue Mountains into southeastern Washington, but really it's the ones moving up through the Okanagan Highlands and into northeastern Washington that we're primarily keeping an eye on. So no word yet if that particular fire that just broke out near the Okanagan area is related to thunderstorms, but we do see some in the vicinity, so we'll be putting that together for you later on. We'll look for, again, chance of showers or thunderstorms this evening. Much better chance of them happening late tomorrow night into early Wednesday morning. It's going to be smoking hot on Tuesday with a daytime high of 93, and it doesn't really cool off that much tonight, only dropping down to 63 degrees. I know that's much cooler than 93, but you get it. You know, previously, like this morning, Pullman set a record low of 40 degrees.
Wow.
And now we're looking for a low tonight of 63.
Quite a shift.
Yeah, for the weekend, I've got 85 on Saturday, 84 on Sunday. So, Jane, at least it doesn't remain hot very long.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. In other news this afternoon, he was 15 at the time of the crime. Now a judge will decide if the young man accused of killing one classmate and injuring 3 more at Freeman High School will be tried as an adult. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley breaks down the testimony as both sides gave their final statements to the judge.
Jane and Tom, all last week, the courtroom for this declination hearing was packed full, and it was no different today when the state and the defense gave their closing statements. And today, the development of the suspect's brain took center stage. Prosecutor Larry Haskell reiterated the 8 Kent factors, a criteria used to determine if the accused shooter will be tried as an adult. He went through each factor, saying the testimony from Freeman School District staff, investigators, and expert witnesses prove the defendant should be tried as an adult, adding that his incarceration will promote safety. Defense attorney Bevan Maxey stood by his argument that his client suffered brain damage resulting from lack of oxygen at the time of birth. Even though the prosecutor's expert witnesses say there is no evidence of this, Maxey says this is a factor proving the suspect was not mature or sophisticated at the time of the alleged crime.
In nearly all aspects, this crime would not have been better planned by an adult, sophisticated and mature.
This is a young man who was suffering from something that he didn't understand. Unfortunately, some of those around him, the adults around him, did not understand, but it was affecting him.
The prosecutor responded saying even the defense's witnesses, Dr. Adler and Dr. Beaver, both said the accused shooter is benefiting from the supervision and rehab. Now, Haskell says their testimony proves his point that he should be tried as an adult so he can get those resources and post-supervision. According to the law, if he is tried as a juvenile, he would be released at the age of 21 without post-supervision. Now, the hearing today, those closing statements, everything wrapped up today at about noon, and the judge is expected to give his ruling tomorrow afternoon. Reporting from the Spokane County Courthouse, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Amanda, thank you very much. Well, he is a familiar face to many. Alfredo Lamedo is a driving force in raising awareness about homelessness in Spokane.
Lamedo founded Camp Hope. That's that makeshift homeless camp that was located outside City Hall. He also led several protests against the sit and lie ordinance.
But today, his health forced him to say a final goodbye. KREM 2's Shayna Waldtower brings us the message he hopes will live on.
Yeah, it's a place he stood in front of many times before, right here in front of City Hall. But today he's planning for it to be his last time as he plans his final message to give to those he hopes will carry that message forward out into the rest of the community.
Today is about thanking this community for stepping up and really bringing homelessness to the forefront.
Alfredo Lamedo has lived in Spokane for about 30 years. He spent 10 of them speaking out for those experiencing homelessness.
I would be out on the corners in the middle of the winter, freezing my buns off, protesting sit and lie.
Over the span of several years, he's hosted many protests and founded Camp Hope. During that time, he went on a hunger strike, demanding that the city open up more warming shelters. But just shortly before that, Lamedo had been diagnosed with a terminal liver illness. He's since been in hospice care. He now says he has just a few days left to live, so he knew it was time to sign off on the message he's been carrying for years.
If we want to be Spokane, the caring community, the loving community, the community that reaches out, then let's be that community.
So today, in the place where he's camped, protested, and spoken many times before, he expressed his appreciation for the city where he dedicated his efforts.
I had a lot of people support me. I mean, I've had people on both sides of it, so I'm grateful.
Lamedo says he's hoping his message and work will continue well beyond today. Some of his closest friends say they're committed to making sure that happens. Shayna Waldtower, KREM 2 News.
I look out the window, and I see a crane just falling into this house. And then the transformer blew out in this power line, and then it just blew up right in front of my face. So naturally, I ducked and went right underneath my bed.
Well, it happened again. A crane, this time in New Jersey, toppled over in strong winds. The crane fell right on top of homes in a New Brunswick neighborhood.
Mark Hanrahan joins us in the studio with more on this collapse. And Mark, it seems like we're hearing more and more about crane collapses.
Yeah, it certainly does, Tom. This is one of many crane collapses around the country. In this latest case, neighbors report hearing strong winds move through that area. They knocked down trees, power lines, and that construction crane. It toppled over, as you mentioned, onto two homes. And here's a look at the damage inside one of those homes. We're about to show it to you here shortly. Not only was the roof torn apart, there was a wrecking ball dangling inside. One woman was inside the homes when the crane came down. Fortunately, she was not hurt. Here's that look inside. The neighborhood is near Rutgers University. The crane was part of a construction project. Crews are building a luxury student living complex, but now that project is on hold until further notice. City engineers and the construction company are looking into the official cause of the collapse and are working to remove that crane right now. This, of course, not the first crane to topple over. A crane fell on top of an apartment complex in Dallas 6 weeks ago, and there's been no movement since. The crane's still on top of the building, and more than 500 tenants still in limbo, waiting to hear what's next. One woman was killed in that collapse. Investigators believe extremely high winds are to blame for the collapse. And back in late April, a crane collapsed in Seattle, killing 4 people. The Bureau of Labor and Industries ruled out that 1 of 5 companies involved with the crane ruled them out. A spokesperson with L&I says investigators found no violations by Seabird Construction Company. That's the company that employed the tower crane operator. Investigators are still looking into the 4 other companies involved. Experts weighing in on the case seem to be torn on what caused it to collapse. Some say it was human error, claiming crane workers removed bolt fasteners too early. Others point to high winds moving through that area. No official cause, though, has been determined, and the investigation remains ongoing. Jane and Tom, back to you guys.
Thank you, Mark.